You think you're free. You think you make your own decisions. You think the world you see every day is the real one. But what if that feeling of control, that sense of reality itself, is just part of the show? We all know governments keep secrets. We shrug off the small ones and label the big ones conspiracy theories. But what if they aren't just theories? What if the most disturbing and undeniable government plots weren't just isolated screw-ups? What if they were all connected, threads of a much larger story? A story so huge and terrifying, it had to be hidden at all costs. Behind a reality they built for you, just to keep you from seeing what's really going on. Before we get into the wild stuff, we have to start with the facts. No speculation, but documented, admitted, and proven history. The whole idea here is built on the chilling truth. People in power have lied, manipulated, and experimented on their own citizens to get what they want. Take the Tuskegee Study. For 40 years, from 1932 to 1972, the U.S. Public Health Services lied to 399 African American men who had syphilis. They were told they were getting free health care for bad blood, but they were really given nothing but placebos. The goal was to just sit back and watch the horrifying, untreated disease run its course, all the way to autopsy. Even after penicillin became the proven cure in the 1940s, the doctors deliberately withheld it, letting the men suffer and die, and letting them unknowingly infect their own families. This wasn't an accident. It was a 40-year program of cold, calculated deception. Then there was Project MKUltra. From the 1950s, and allegedly shut down in the 1970s, this was the CIA's top-secret mind control program. Using a mix of hypnosis, psychological abuse, and drugs like LSD, the agency ran experiments on unsuspecting Americans and Canadian citizens. The ambitious and terrifying goal was to explore the frontiers of brainwashing, to see if a person could be turned into an asset, who could be programmed to do something without even knowing why. While creating a true Manchurian candidate was never conclusively achieved, that was the direction they were heading. Hundreds, if not thousands, were used as guinea pigs in these experiments, their minds treated as a battlefield in the Cold War. The project only saw the light of day because of congressional investigations that exposed the agency's illegal activities. And while the CIA was playing with minds, the FBI was fighting its own secret war on the streets. It was called COINTELPRO. Between 1956 and 1971, the FBI ran a series of covert and illegal projects to spy on, infiltrate, and tear apart domestic political groups. They were after civil rights leaders, anti-war protesters, and feminist organizations. They used psychological warfare, forged documents, and planted fake stories in the media to create chaos and mistrust. They famously targeted figures like Martin Luther King Jr., trying to blackmail and intimidate him. These are no theories. These are historical facts. A baseline that proves there's a frightening willingness to control people through medical, psychological, and social means. On their own, these programs are terrifying abuses of power. But here's a question we're never supposed to ask. What if they weren't separate? What if these weren't three different conspiracies, but three R&D projects of a single massive system? Think about what they're testing. Tuskegee wasn't just about a disease. It was a 40-year field study in long-term public deception. It proved that a vulnerable group could be managed and lied to for decades without a major uprising. Teaching a master class is how to manipulate trust in doctors and scientists. MKUltra wasn't just about a single truth serum. It was a deep dive into the mechanics of belief itself. They were trying to reverse engineer the human mind to figure out how to plant ideas, create false memories, and steer behaviors on a huge scale. And COINTELPRO wasn't just about stopping a few protests. It was the beta test for the modern mass surveillance and controlling the story. It was about learning how to weaponize the media, turn public opinion against certain ideas, and create so much paranoia that no real opposition could ever get organized. Medical control, psychological control, social control. When you stop looking at them as isolated events and see them as connected field studies, a pretty disturbing picture starts to form. Maybe they weren't just solving problems of the day. Maybe they were building a toolbox for managing something much, much bigger. So why would they go through all this trouble? The theory goes that the answer is simple and terrifying. Imagine a world where every single person had access to the raw, unfiltered truth. The full extent of political corruption. The true weakness of our financial system. The real power of advanced military tech. The actual probability of civilization-ending disasters. What do you think would happen? The architects of this system, the theory suggests, believe the answer is chaos. Total societal collapse. Markets wouldn't just crash, they'd evaporate. Rights wouldn't be in one city, they'd be in every city. Trust, the glue holding civilization together, would dissolve in an instant, and in a world full of nuclear and biological weapons, a global panic isn't just a disaster, it's an extinction-level event. Faced with that possibility, a quiet decision was made by a powerful transnational group. The decision was that humanity simply can't handle the truth. We're too emotional, too tribal, too quick to panic. So for our own good, reality has to be managed. What you think of as reality is, in this theory, a carefully constructed narrative, a show produced by the inheritors of the knowledge of the Tuskegee, MKUltra, and COINTELPRO. Major world events aren't just left to chance. They're guided and shaped. The news, controlled by a handful of corporations, tells us what to be angry about, what to fear, and what to ignore. Social media algorithms, like the digital ghost of MKUltra's research, creates personalized echo chambers that reinforce approved ideas and get us fighting over trivial things, keeping us from uniting against the real showrunners. The economy is a performance, with booms and busts managed to stop the total meltdown while making sure wealth keeps flowing to the top. Entertainment and celebrity culture are the modern-day bread and circuses, a constant stream of distractions. It's a system of control so complete it doesn't need prison walls. The walls are built inside our minds, from the information we're fed every day by their system. If any of this is true, what does it mean for us? It means our sense of self might be built on a foundation of lies. The causes we're passionate about, the outrage we feel, the political side we're on. Are they really ours? Or are they the result of a perfectly guided social experiment? Think about the last time you felt a huge wave of emotion about a news story. Was it organic? Or was that story framed in a very specific way to make you feel that exact thing? Maybe to distract you from something else happening in the shadows. Think about the things you want, the life you're trying to build. Are those your desires, or were they planted by a culture designed to keep you as a predictable, manageable consumer? This curated reality would explain so much. It would explain why society seems to jump from one crisis to the next, with each one dividing us even more. It explains that nagging feeling of powerlessness that so many of us have. The sense that no matter who you vote for, nothing fundamental ever really changes. In this world, the most dangerous person is the one who starts asking the right questions. The one who logs off, steps out of the stream, and starts connecting the dots for themselves. The system isn't built to handle real dissent. Its main defense is to slap a label on it. Conspiracy theorist, crackpot, crazy. Using the very terms it popularized to protect itself. So we're left with a deeply unsettling idea that we might be living in a gilded cage. A comfortable, entertaining, and endlessly distracting prison for our minds. And the real tragedy is we're all unwitting jailers, policing ourselves and each other, fiercely defending the walls of a reality that may have been built to control us. And what if that feeling that something is deeply wrong with the world isn't just a feeling? What if it's a crack in the wall of your curated reality? A quick glimpse of the machinery working from behind the curtain. The truth might be out there, but maybe the real question isn't whether we can find it, but whether we can handle it if we did. Are these just a few sad, isolated events from history's mysteries? Or are they pieces of a much larger and much more disturbing puzzle?